Good morning, everyone. This is Simply the Grace saying hi to you all. Today on this channel, I would just like to talk to us about the significance of taking our well-being, especially as immigrants, seriously, and of course seeking timely support as required for each and every one of us, and that is also to include our children if we are parents. As immigrants in the UK, we are living in a system that we might find very stressful. Even sometimes to have the time to sort of seek medical advice, medical support. I'm not just talking about the mental health needs now or physical needs. I'm talking about the general well-being and just being able to seek support, especially of professionals as needed, really. So it is important that we take this seriously, because as immigrants, unfortunately, I have had one or two incidents that happened lately, and it's very sad indeed when we don't seek timely kind of support for in order to be able to maintain good health and of course to look after our well-being in general. First of all, I like to start with our children. If you've got children in the UK, depending on how old they are, as a health professional myself, I feel very privileged and in a position to advise you, depending, as I said, on how old your child is. If the child was to have been born in the UK, I'm sure you would have, have the opportunity of speaking to your midwife or maybe your health visitor in order to be able to guide you and give you the useful advice, even right from registering your baby with the GP, and of course getting all the immunization necessary from like 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, going up to 1 year. And I think the last one is the preschool booster, which is the 3 years, 4 months one. And then the next one will be when they actually become, when your child becomes a teenager. It's very important to take this seriously. And as immigrants, if you are not so sure of what the system is like and how to navigate the system, it is worth you speaking to your GP, or as I said, to anybody around you that you feel in the position to help and guide you. So if you just moved to the UK and you got babies that are, under this kind of, this age group that I just mentioned, or born in the UK, please be aware that the first thing you need to do is to register with the GP, and of course your health visitor will be in touch with you, and of course they will guide you in regards to the best way forward for your child. Now, I know I have had discussion, one or two, conversation with people that are of the opinion that immunization is unnecessary, and of course, maybe back home it doesn't matter. People just use some herbal treatment or whatever it is, some agbo or whatever we call it. That is all well and good, and as I always say, again, I would like to put a disclaimer out there. I'm not here to push my opinion on anybody or to force anyone to do what they don't feel able to do or wanting to do, basically. Because we're all individuals, and it's very important that we do respect one another's choices. But what I would say is it is very important, even when you're making these decisions, to make sure that it's based on information, and I mean useful information. It needs to be informed choice. Make sure you still do your research, make sure you investigate, make sure you speak to people. And if it is to if it happens that you just got some fears or some uncertainties in regarding to immunization, it is worth you speaking to the health professional, especially in this regard, your health visitor or GP, just to run through the advantages and benefits, and of course maybe there are one or two side effects as well. that they might want to share with you. What is important to me is for you to make that choice based on informed, information that, that are quite significant and necessary in order for you to go forward and make the right decision for you, which should be in the best interest of your child. Because ultimately, you're not just protecting your child alone, you're also protecting the other children if you should, go ahead and have this immunization or not. Personally speaking, and again, this is my personal opinion, and as a health professional myself, I think the benefits of having this immunization, definitely the benefits and advantages surpass not having them. But as I said, this is my personal opinion. But speak to your GP, speak to your health professional. Don't just make these based on hearsay or whatever your own premonition or perception is. Do your research, investigate further before you make this decision. And I would just like to say, when I'm still on our children, that as I said earlier on, it's quite unfortunate that I've had to deal with a situation whereby mom and dad did not kind of seek timely support and medical advice and for their little one, and unfortunately this has led to that child being taken off them. It's very important that we understand that in the UK, if you got a child, and accidents do happen, sometimes they run around, things happen at home as well, it's very important for you to seek support and advice. Go to your GP, go to accident and emergency department if you need to. Don't try to just cover this up and think, oh well, it doesn't matter, they just don't have to go to school for a week or two, nobody can see them. If they're still babies, it won't matter anyway, the scar will heal, the wound will blah blah. It doesn't always work like that. And I think this couple, unfortunately, they did not seek support for this little one, had accident at home, and instead of them to do the right thing, they didn't. The one girl got infected, and of course by the time they come around to go into the accident and emergency department, seek medical support, it was too late, because the questions they were being asked, they couldn't actually answer in such a way that the professional would have determined that they've acted in the best interest of the child. Basically, situations like this led to people lying. Oh, we didn't know. Oh, it wasn't like this, before. And unfortunately, because this got infected, sepsis, the child had to be admitted, and it got so bad that the children's services got involved, and unfortunately, like I said, the child got taken off them because they did not act. Apparently the one that had been there for 2 weeks, and instead of them to act accordingly, they didn't. And that is just a tip of an iceberg as like what's happening to so many immigrant families, because they do not understand the system. It's better to come forward, seek useful advice, even if you're embarrassed about it. It doesn't really matter, but you still need to be truthful. And whatever the consequences of that will be, it will still be rather much better than if people had to force you to get this information from you, and it can lead to something bigger that you do not probably expect or prepare for. So it's always better to be honest. It's always better to be forthcoming. And as I said, when you got young children, we've all been there, accidents do happen, don't cover it up. And even if you need to ask some questions again in regards to the safety and health of your child under your care, yes, some situation meant that the social services will still be involved. They will get the children's services involved. Your GP or your health professional might need to call them, because these people got what we call statutory duty of care to make sure that things, it doesn't necessarily mean that automatically your child will be taken off you. What professionals actually, what sort of burdens or could be come across as concerning for the health professionals is when you are trying to cover this up, and then they feel that they can't get the truth from you. If you can just let people know what happened, it was an accident, this is what happened. They might actually put some sort of support, package in place for you, advise you accordingly, in maintaining good safety around your children at home. That is, our job. That is, especially if you're a health visitor or a GP, any health professional, that is our job to be able to help you. So it's not going to be automatically that a mistake happened, accident happened, and then bash, you think children's services are coming to take your child. It doesn't happen like that. It is sheer ignorance to think like this, and as a result, cover things up that might then backfire in future. I have seen situations of children that have been hurt, maybe through accidents, whatever, and it was 6 months, 1 year down the line that they probably just went to see the GP, or maybe they're having PE in school, and then people noticed this scare, and of course the teacher, again, as I said, they had to report this. And when that happened, investigation was opened, and then it was found that this little one had actually, had this injury, I don't know, maybe a few years ago. There was no report in the medical note that they actually sought support and seek advice for it medically, and it has got the parent again into trouble. So these are the things I think we need to be mindful of as children, as parents, immigrant parents, that okay, we might be coming from a country or a system where we don't, have the privilege of having access to services like this. But the government of the United States, the government of United Kingdom, as I said, there is that duty of care that everybody working as professional, in this system have to, adhere to in supporting you as a parent. And I can assure everybody out there listening to this morning that the last thing any professional wants to do is to take your child off you. When you hear the story of a child being taken away from parents, again, I can assure you it must have been something significant and very damaging, that the only choice the professionals would have is to remove that child because of their safety. So we can all find a lot of reassurance in this, that whatever you hear, people don't always tell you the truth, and how the situation gets to where it does sometimes. The first line of action is to, usually if you get referred to children's services or you're not sure what to do, the first line of action is to actually work with parents to see if the child can remain with them and if the professional can provide the support they need. Nobody is interested in just coming there and taking your child off you. Now, moving on from our children, as parents as well, we need to be aware that your health is your wealth. If you're not well and you're feeling a bit under the weather, or you're down for whatever reason or the other, be it physical or mental health, it is very important that you seek useful and timely support for yourself. We are living in a system where it's the stress, whatever the kind of job you're doing, it's very much likely that it's very stressful. And as immigrants, there is another layer of that coming to the new system, having to get used to the environment, and of course, all other things and responsibilities and expectations that we are to meet as parents. That could place even more, that could put us under more pressure, and meant that we're even under more stress than maybe usual. So this is why it is paramount that sometimes we just need to stop, think, and seek medical support and advice if you need to. Because thinking about it, if you let the situation get to the point where then your body totally shut down, maybe what you're supposed to have sought support, advice, medical advice for 3 weeks ago, you didn't, and then you find yourself in a situation where you can't go to work, things are getting more and more difficult. Can we just imagine the impact of that on the family as a whole? By then your children will be suffering, you are experiencing what you'll be experiencing as well. It's going to be quite challenging health-wise, that you can't work, you can't do anything. Meanwhile, if you had sort of done the right thing by seeking timely support, you might not find yourself in that situation. Let's not ignore our health needs. No matter how busy you are, you might be working nights, you might be working day, you might be doing long hours. Remember that your health is your wealth. In order for you to be able to meet those responsibilities in the first place, and the expectation and the demand, you need to be well enough to do so. You're no good to anybody, nor your wife, nor your children, nor your husband, or your friends, or even family back home, if you are not well, to the extent that you have to be admitted or something really happens to you. Nobody wants that. That's not going to be in anybody's, best interest, really. So let's take this to heart. Let's try as much as possible to seek timely manner. And sometimes as well, I've heard people, going down this route, oh, I'm all right, I never used to do this. When I'm back home, nobody, my body will fight it. Yeah, sometimes your body could fight it. But you also need to remember that you're in a different environment now where you can actually seek the support. It's free there. And it's very important that we keep to this. Because by so doing, we can benefit and save ourselves a lot of trouble, a lot of heartache. Because you never know when your medical kind of situation would mean that you need urgent help, that you need urgent medical intervention. If you don't seek that support, you wouldn't know. And again, unfortunately, I have had a situation of people that regret this action, in the end, really, of not, seeking medical advice and support in a timely manner. So this is all I want to share with us today. I hope you find this video and this information useful. If you do, like, share, and kindly subscribe so that I can get to more people. And I wish everybody the best. I wish you good health, best wishes, best regard, and yes. So Hannah, I'll be back once again. This is Simply the Grace saying good morning to you all wherever you are. Bye.